Hi everyone. Welcome to Teacher Gela podcast. I am Teacher Gela. I'm going to start with what happened yesterday. Like yesterday I was listening to a YouTube channel. I was doing dishes, so I was just listening. In that channel, the host was reading a part of the book. So I was just listening to a part of a book. And I had a lot of surprising moments while I was listening to that. The author of the book talked about a study that was done to young children. So there were two classrooms. I think there are probably elementary school students. In one classroom, they gave, they showed number of pictures, and then they gave a test, some kind of test about creativity, and then they tested. In one classroom, the last photo that children saw was like they started from a picture of space, Earth, and then province, city, something like that, coming closer to our like present, current place. So the last photo that the children saw was a picture of a desk and a pencil. I think it was something like that. And in another classroom, they went the other way. So they started from a picture of desk and pencil and then moved on to the bigger picture. And so the last picture that the children saw was the space. And then right after that, children got the test, like the question about creativity, and the results showed that uh, the, the children in the classroom who saw a picture of space as a last one, they gave more creative answers to the test. So the point that the author was saying there was this: when we widen our perspective, we can have more possibilities and that also more creativity. You know, this is kind of concept that we all like heard before, right? When we see the bigger picture, we can have a, widened perspective, and because it's we are seeing a bigger space, of course there can be bigger opportunities, bigger solution, many possibilities, right? So we kind of know this thing, but the reason why it was surprising to me was like something that we see like a minute ago or 5 minutes ago that can affect our thoughts. Isn't that surprising? And it kind of works in a simple way to children, right? Just because they saw a photo of a bigger space, their thought got bigger and they could think of more creative answers. Well, I don't actually have the book. It is Korean book, and yeah, I don't have the actual book, so I couldn't really see the source, unfortunately. But yeah, it was just surprising to hear that. But you understand this too. Do you agree with this? We don't see what we don't know. I mean, the chances are low. If we don't know much about that thing, the chances are we are not going to notice that. Do you agree with that? So I thought, yeah, I totally agree with that. Well, I kind of knew about this, but I could realize about that fact. And so I thought, okay, this week I want to find a book about space. The funny story here, do you know why I came up with the book about space? Well, the first reason, because from the study from that book, they showed a photo of a space, right? So that's one thing. But the second reason, I am like really into a TV uh drama TV show that is on Netflix. I think it's called Lost in the Space. Lost in the Space, I think. So it's about a story that all the things happen in the space. And I am on season 2 and I was like binge watching it for over 2 weeks or something. I think I have to stop it for a bit though. Anyway, so yeah, I am really, really interested in space these days. I have lots of like dreams about space these days. Anyway, so I thought it's gonna be good to show a lot of books about space to our young children. But it wasn't really easy to find a good book, to be honest, because I think the children start learning about the space in planets and solar system, that stuff in elementary school, I guess. Yeah, in elementary school. So and and that's understandable, right? It's not an easy concept to learn. So it wasn't easy to find a good book for young children like toddlers and preschooler. But this book that I found, I think it's really simple enough for young children and fun enough for them. This is a series book. You know the book, There Was an Old Lady Who Swallowed a Fly. It's one of that series. And this one is There Was an Old Astronaut Who Swallowed the Moon by Lucille Colandro. So yeah, this one is just mainly about like sequencing, but this one is not easy for like sequencing because there are new words, many new words for toddlers and preschooler. So our focus is not gonna be on sequencing, but that is how the book goes. So it goes like this. There was an old astronaut who swallowed the moon. I don't know why she swallowed the moon. It happened at noon. There was an old lady who swallowed a star. It was bizarre to swallow a star. And then it swallows a planet, it swallows a comet, it swallows a rocket ship. Yeah, some more things. So it talks about different things that exist in the space. So they can see the sun, moon, comet, the little stars, rocket ship, all those different things. And because the words are so new, it can be so new for young children, there are short explanations. For example, they explain that the moon can stay around the earth because of the gravity force from the earth. Very simple explanation, but I think that can be helpful for some children. And the pictures are fun too. The background is the space, So it shows black, dark space, and there's an old astronaut flying around in the space, and it swallows the star, sun, not a sun, but moon, and all those things. It's the pictures are fun too. So you can read the story with your child. Just go through it. You don't have to at beginning if your child doesn't really understand like what things are. Like what is moon? Like what moon probably they know because we can see the moons. But they say like what is like a planet or what is comet? Well, there are photos, first of all, the pictures in the book. So you can show that pictures and you can try to explain. But if your child doesn't really understand what it is, don't worry about it. It's not easy things to learn at that age yet. But what we want to do is expose our children to the new space, right? We're not just talking about things on Earth. We're talking about the things in the space. So we just want to expose our children to new space and new things. So don't worry about it if your child don't really understand. So after reading this book together with your child, I prepared some questions that you can ask to your child just to mm, just to just to go over the story again, just to make sure that your child is was understanding, or to find out what part was interesting for your child or what part she or he doesn't understand. So the question number one that you can ask is, what did the old astronaut swallow? So this is checking the simple fact, right? You can see if your child was listening or not listening. Uh, of course, your child can go through the book again and see what the old astronaut swallowed. So you can ask about that. And, this is good for vocabulary, of course, because there are many new words, right? Many new things, new words. So it can develop your child's vocabulary. And you can see, like I said, you can see if your child was really listening or not listening. You can see if your child can focus or uh, can't really focus while listening to a story. And if you want, you can try asking about like what came first. What did she swallow first? And then what did she swallow? And then what did she swallow? So this is about sequencing, but I would say this is like next level. But if you wanna try it, you can try it. And the next question that you can ask is, what do you think was the hardest to swallow? And why do you think so? So there were some many things that the old astronauts swallow, like what was the first thing? Well, she swallowed the moon and the star, comet, meteorite. I don't know if she swallowed meteorite. Well, there are many things, and ask, what do you think was the hardest to swallow for the old astronaut? And why do you think so? What can we do with this question? This question will encourage your child to think critically. So to answer to this question, your child need to think about like what she swallowed and how they were like. How was comet like? And how was rocket like? And is it gonna be hard to swallow? They have to think about the characteristics of each thing, and they have to kind of analyze those things by themselves to make their own judgment. So this is gonna develop your child's critical thinking skills. Also, it can encourage your child to use their imagination because we never really been in the space. I was never been in, so we don't really know what the space is like. So we kind of have to use our imagination. Like we heard about the this story, we saw what's there, but still we didn't really see it with our eyes, right? So we kind of have to use our imagination for some stuff. And then you can ask this question: how does the space look like to you? What do you think about the space? How does it look like? Do you want to visit the space? This question is just to learn about your child, and you can share your thought about the space. Do you want to visit the space someday? I want to visit the space someday because I was never been there before. And by listening to this story, there are so many things, and it sounds interesting. What do you think? So you can have a small conversation with the question. And as a follow-up question, if you ever want to visit the space, how can we go to space? Well, the rocket ship was mentioned in the book. At the end of the book, it mentions like how long is the trip to the space, and it says it depends on the speed or the shape of the rocket ship. So it says rocket ship. With the rocket ship, we can go to the space. So just have a fun conversation with your child. And then after asking this question, if your child seems interested in the space, then you can search for the real photos of the real space. You can simply just uh, Google on your phone. So look for the space photo, look for the comet in the space, and look at the photo of real rocket ship, look at the photo of real astronaut, things like that. We learned it from the book, and they really exist in real life. And in real life, it looks like this. That's one thing, right? So, with this book, by introducing this book, by reading this book to our children, what we want to do is we want to show our children that it's not it's not just our family, or it's not just me and you. It's not just our house. It's not just our school. It's not just your school. There, it's so much bigger world. There's our country, but there are many different countries, and we are on Earth. Earth is huge, but outside of Earth, there's even bigger space. And there are lots of things that we haven't seen yet, and there are lots of things that we can learn. There are lots of things that we can experience, and we want to widen our children's perspective. Just as a finishing activity, I looked for some songs. I like to incorporate songs because it's a fun way to learn. So if you are doing this with your toddlers, you can just sing the zoom, zoom, zoom. You know the song, right? Zoom, 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 we're going to the moon. Zoom, 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 we're gonna get there soon. If you wanna take a trip, climb aboard my rocket ship. Zoom, zoom, zoom. We're going to the moon. Five, four, three, two, one. Blast off! That zoom, zoom, zoom song. It's fun to do preschool, uh, with the toddlers. Of course, preschoolers still love this song, but toddlers, they will love this song. And if you want a little bit advanced song, I found this one. This one is called Five Little Men in a Flying Saucer. Five Little Men in a Flying Saucer. And this one, I could find the video on YouTube. The channel was by Twinkl. I can leave the link in the description box, and it's actually more fun to see the video with the song. So this song goes like this. Five little men in a flying saucer flew to the moon one day. They looked left and right, but they didn't like the sight, so one man flew away. And then four little men in a flying saucer flew to the moon one day. They looked left and right, but they didn't like the sight, so one man flew away. And then it goes down to three, two, one. So the counting is the same as the zoom 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 song, but it's much more advanced than the zoom zoom zoom, right? And the good thing about this song is, I like the story here. There are five little men in a flying saucer, flying to the moon. So we're not just talking about uh, five little monkeys on Earth. We are up in the sky there, and there are five little men in a flying saucer. Are they astronauts? Are they just normal humans? Or can they be aliens? Who knows? Because they are in a saucer and they flew to the moon. They might come from another planet, right? So it can trigger your child's imagination and creativity. So I recommend to listen to this song with the video, because the video is, it's of course it's more fun. So check this song as well after reading the book. I am sure children will love to learn about this song. So what I wanted to do today here was introducing you guys a book about space for young children, which is the book There Was an Old Astronaut Who Swallowed the Moon. So I hope you can try reading this book together with your child and then ask and talk about those questions that I suggested. And then, tap your child's imagination and creativity and broaden your child's perspective. That's it. That's all for this week. And I will see you guys next time again. Bye.